Hey Facebook, it's noontime. I'm going to come on here and talk about a couple of things, and that is about certifications and winning contracts. I'm just going to talk a few minutes because it's not going to be long or anything like that. So I speak to different groups out in the area that I live in, and one of the problems or one of the questions that came up was about certifications and winning a contract. So we're going to talk about that for a few minutes. So a certification for government is very useful. It can win you contracts, and you can get a lot of business with certifications. But certifications are not the people say that I've been certified, and that's great. But that doesn't mean you'll win a contract, okay? Certifications means that you're eligible to participate in a solicitation that the government has out. For example, the government may have a solicitation that says, we're looking for a women-owned business. If you have that certification, that means that you can write the proposal and hopefully win that contract. But that doesn't guarantee that you'll win that contract. So don't look at a certification as if you're going to win a contract just because you're certified. Certifications means you're just eligible to participate in certain things that the government has. And it's a good thing to have, and I recommend that everybody gets it, especially if you're a minority-owned business, a woman-owned business, a veteran business. So I wanted to kind of come on here and talk about that for a few minutes. So some of the questions I received when I was out was, well, what's the point of getting a certification? The point is that, like I said, certifications can help you bid on certain contracts that you would not be eligible to bid on. We have the certifications come in federal, state, and local, depending on where you live. So if you're looking into federal contracts, then you know you need to have a women-owned, the WSB, which is a women-owned small business, a HUB zone, or veteran-owned. If you live in your state, that means you can get a minority business certification, or your local, depending on where you live, your local certification. And then, of course, there are private certifications. For example, the WEBANC, which is WENC, Women Business Certification. That's a private certification, and that means that if you are working on private contracts, that can help you in that way. So let me just sum this up right quickly. Certifications are good to have. You should have them. But that does not guarantee that you will win a contract. It will help you if you're bidding on a contract and the solicitation states that you must have this certification. So let me give you an example. So we bid on large contracts over millions of dollars. And some of those contracts or solicitations require us to be a women-owned small business, and also require the subcontractor that we have to give 23% of our money to. That person also has to be a woman-owned small business. Okay? So, getting your certification is important. It's one of the best things to have. And let me tell you, by me having my certifications helped me win large contracts. And I keep my certifications because I want to be able to continue to get that consistent income every month, 3 years, 5 years, however long the contract is, to grow my business. So when you get your certification, whether you get a federal certification or a state certification or a local certification, the solicitation will dictate whether or not you need that certification to bid on that contract. If you don't need the certification to bid on that contract, then you do not have to have it. It's good to have, but if they don't require it, so be it. Now, if the solicitation, I keep saying contract, if the solicitation says you must have your minority business enterprise certification, then if you don't have it, don't waste your time and bid on it, because it's not going to help you at all, because that'll decrease the points that they give you when they calculate your certification. Let's calculate the bid that you send in. So certifications and getting and writing a bid helps you win contracts. Take it from me, that's how I work. I work in that realm. So when there aren't any certifications required, that means that opens it up to other large businesses who can also compete for the contract as well. So what I suggest people do is stay in your lane. If you are a small business and you know you can't compete with the large businesses, even though it doesn't say you have to have a certification, if you don't think you can compete, don't even waste your time in writing the proposal. Stay in your lane. So with the certifications and writing a proposal are two different things. The certification says you're eligible to participate in some of the programs that the government has, and you're eligible to participate in a solicitation that the government writes. So some people have asked me, well, why when I have a certification and I write a proposal, I don't win? I've never won, even though I have my certification. As I stated, certification does not guarantee that you'll win a contract. It's guaranteeing that you are eligible to participate. Here's the way to win a contract. If you get a solicitation, let's say, for example, I'm in staffing, and the solicitations require us to provide bodies to the government. We would have to, and it's a 5-year contract, we have to write a technical proposal stating to the government how we're going to work that contract. They will, in the solicitation, will tell you what is needed, what is required for you to be able to participate on that contract, should you win. So once you write the technical proposal, the next thing is pricing, which we'll talk about much at another time. So the technical proposal is written, and it says that you must have your women-owned certification or women-owned business certification in order to participate in this particular contract. Then, once that technical proposal is written, then the next thing you need to do is to price the solicitation. That tells the government how much you're going to charge them in order to do the contract, what you want to make on that contract by your pricing. And let me just tell you, most people don't win the contract, the contract award, because their pricing is off. There's a secret or a way to price to win, because what the government will do is look at your technical proposal and say, okay, this sounds great. Pam Knight's company sounds great. They met all the requirements that is needed for this technical proposal. So now we're going to take a look at her pricing. She has the certifications that needed for this particular contract. So we're going to take a look at her pricing. We look at her pricing, and her pricing meets the requirement that we're looking for, or the money that we want to spend. It's in the range of money that we want to spend. So since her technical proposal looks good and her pricing proposal looks good, I think she's going to be one of our winners to get this contract. So sometimes the government will award to maybe up to 3 or maybe up to 5 companies to win a particular contract. Okay? How about that? So you may not be the only one. So you have to remember, when you're bidding, your pricing's got to be spot on, and your technical proposal has to be spot on. because they give you, based on what you write in your technical proposal, they give you points. Based on what you have in your proposal pricing, that also give you points. So the two have to mesh together. That comes out to what the government is willing to award you based on your technical proposal, what your past performance and your experience is, and then also how you price that is within the range that the government wants to pay you for. Okay, so let's be clear on winning and what the things that you need to do to win. So if you don't have a proposal writer who can write your proposal, and you're going up against the big boys, or you're going up against other women-owned small business, other veteran business, other hub zone business, then you're doomed to fail anyway, whether you meet the requirements or not. Let me say that again. So if you don't have a person who can write your technical proposal, I have this thing on my lap right now. If you don't have a proposal writer, a person who understands how to write a technical proposal so that you can win a government contract, you're going to be out anyway. And also, if you don't know how to price your proposal, you're going to be out. Doesn't even matter if you have certifications. If those two requirements aren't met, you're out of it anyway. Because a lot of people have come to me and said, I got my certifications, I've been writing these proposals, and I still don't win. Why is that? Did you explain to the government what they were asking for? Did you satisfy the needs of the government? Then that's why you didn't win. Also, did you overprice? Because if you overprice, that's another reason why you don't win. Now, the government do have a range, but if you're out of that range, you're not going to win anyway. So, the best thing to do if you don't have people who are good in technical writing, who have written proposals before, or you don't have anybody to help you price a proposal, here at Winning Strategies for Government Contracts, we can help you do that. Now, we can't guarantee that you will win, but we can guarantee that out of the many proposals that you submit, you should win. I was that way. I had no idea how to write a technical proposal. I mean, I knew some of it, but I didn't know how to write it where I could win. And then I had to learn how to price. Once I did that, got my technical proposal together, got my pricing together, I started winning. And my wins were, large, over millions and millions of dollars. So when you start moving all the way up that tree, you got to have your stuff in order. It's got to be good. And you've got to be able to show the government that you have the experience, the knowledge, expertise, and your infrastructure is together so that you can win that government contract. But here's another thing that I found real interesting for some small businesses. They'll be writing, for themselves, writing a proposal to submit, and they'll say, well, how am I going to pay my employees? Have you ever thought about how you're going to pay employees? When it's time to pay employees, you cannot be sitting there thinking, where am I going to get the money to pay some employees? That's part of your infrastructure. And here at Winning Strategies for Government Contracts, we will help you make sure that your infrastructure is together so that you can be government ready. You got to be government ready. Otherwise, you'll never win. You'll give up. You'll be like, it didn't work for me. Of course it didn't work for you. Because you weren't government ready. And we want to get you government ready. Now, I don't win everything, but I have won enough. And to me, that's an accomplishment. I'm successful, and I can continue to do that. Because number one, I have a person who writes my proposal. Now, not everybody have to have that, but I do. Because I don't like writing. And number two, I know how to price it. And that's how I win. along with my certifications. The certifications have helped me in federal government, state government, and local government. And if you want that same type of success, then if you haven't been able to get that on your own, then winning government strategies is one way you can go. I'm Alyssa. Thanks for watching. So I'm just letting you know, if you want to be a successful government contractor, there are lots of little things that you need to do. Eventually, I will be having what we call a webinar on stop stepping over the dollars to get to the dimes. It's government contracting, government and corporate contracting. The webinar will be coming soon, and we're going to talk about a lot of those things in that webinar. And if you really want to be a successful government contractor, you really want to do government contracting, the thing I suggest is that you either become part of our enroll as a client in our program, or you can do it yourself. We don't have any problems with that. But what we're going to do is make sure you're government ready. And we're going to be step by step with you to make sure that you're able to work to be able to at least compete on your level, staying in your lane, and win those contracts. That's what I had to learn. I had to stay in my lane. I had to learn how to price. I had to make sure my technical proposal was good enough for them to say, you have been awarded a contract. Because let me tell you, I started off small, doing simplified acquisitions. And those are not bad, but that's one way to start gaining past performance. Especially the government's not going to give you $1 million in those contracts when you have not done any past performance before, or shown the government that you have been able to work on contracts of that magnitude. You have to start from somewhere. And some people say, well, a simplified acquisition is not, it's one way to get in. That's how I get in. They're small. But let's just say you get a simplified acquisition for like $100,000. So you get 4 of them. That's $400,000. And simplified acquisitions, most of the time, they don't require a proposal. How about that? You just have to meet the requirements that they need. And when I was doing simplified acquisitions, I loved it. That was my start, simplified acquisitions. And then, guess what? I could pay by, I got paid by credit card, which means I would call them up. I would send them an invoice. I'd call them up and say, can I pay now? Can you pay me now? Take my credit card information. I took their credit card information, got paid within a few days. Whereas when you get the big contracts, over $1 million and all that stuff, you have to wait about 30 days. But in between that, you still have to pay your employees. And so that's why when you join our program, Government Launchpad is the name of the program. Enroll in our course so you can understand all the little stuff that you need. You'll understand all of it. And it is complex, but I tell you, you don't have to wait 4 or 5 years to reach to be billing at 5 and 6 figures a month. You don't have to wait that long. One client from the government can send you into another world as far as your bank account is concerned. Because my bank account started off at $200. When I got my first contract, which was a simplified acquisition, it took my bank account from $200 to $10,000 to $20,000 to $30,000. Just one client. All this is true. And that's why I decided to step on the other side and start helping small businesses who have certifications, can't figure out what to do with them,